I'm going to trade for the next 24 hours straight to see how much money I can make. I have this brand new 150K account that I would also like to pass over the next 24 hours. I'm going to be scalping the supply and demand trading strategy. I'll share with you each trade as we go through with proper risk management. So if we have a look at the news, what's going to be coming out for the next 24 hours, there's a lot going on with the Donald Trump tariffs and reciprocal tariffs. So that's really driving the markets. And then Thursday is going to be coming out CPI data. So there definitely is a lot of volatility, liquidity in the markets right now. So hopefully there will be some opportunities. That is the goal. We got 24 hours to make as much money as we can. So let's get straight into it and let's jump to the first trading opportunity. We're in the first trade now. We are shorting the Aussie. We're about 15 minutes before the New York Open. This is kind of like a quick demo test to see if the account's taking trades. So it's just one contract on the Aussie, risking about 65 bucks, nothing too big, more of a demo test, but this was a really good setup in general. Overall, it had a very strong imbalance to the downside. Like this whole move, very strong imbalance to the downside that's taking out all of this area of demand to the left on its way down. So I definitely like this area for sellers to retake control. And I'm just going to look for a very quick trade, 1-to-1. I'm going to get out at 50 points, 50 bucks. A couple other trades that I was looking at. Gold is another one that I really do like. Now, this is something I posted on my watch list. Gold's been rallying up for the last like 48 hours. And then I had this really good 5-minute buy setup right here. We call it a 1 time frame setup. Very nice quality 1 hour demand zone. But I wasn't too happy with the quality of the arrival of prices coming back in. So I instead pulled my order and waited for confirmation. Now, this still would have hit my first take profit. It would have just been a very quick scalp in and out really quickly. But I said, screw it, I'm gonna wait for prices to return in my direction. And so since then, prices have taken control and I am just waiting as prices go in near my first take profit on the Aussie. I'm going to protect my stop now at this point. I don't wanna see this thing rally back up and go against me, so I'm going to protect my stop. I think it's one of the most important things that you can do as a trader. And there we go. Out at take profit. We are up 50 bucks. Great. Let's move on to the next one. The open is in 10 minutes. We're in another trade. We are short crude oil right now, just looking for a very quick, low reward to risk, high probability short here. So the reason why we're looking at shorting this thing is crude oil is down so much over the last couple days. It's been getting absolutely sold off. It went from 72 all the way down to 55 over the course of 4 days. So I really like just trying to short this thing. And right now prices have pulled back into an area of supply that previously broke down to the downside, really strong imbalance to the downside. So I'm actually looking at what was happening quickly. So I'm gonna protect myself actually now. So I'm going to move my stop now down so I limit my risk, and my take profit is about 500 bucks, I believe. Yeah, high probability, low reward to risk type of trade. I do it sometimes, but you just got to make sure you manage risk. So that is the trade. So the reason actually why you guys are probably wondering, like, why are you wearing that thing on your head? Well, it's because there's a light above my head and I don't want it reflecting down on my forehead. And so then you guys get screen blasted with blasted by a light on my forehead, so that's why I'm wearing a towel. Come back to you after this trade. Looks like it's doing pretty well. And take profit hit on crude oil, plus 550 bucks on the account. Awesome. Here's a long on the S&P that I'm targeting. ES 1000 tick chart, looking to get in and out really quickly. Nice strong imbalance move to the upside, taking out opposing pivot point supply zones, breaking downward structure. Overall, long term, over the last couple hours, it's been bullish. So I'm just trying to pick up a quick scalp. I'm in. I'm just going to move up TP up here to 300. We're going to see how we do. Seller stepping in, not something I want to be in too much. Okay, I'm moving break even. That's it. I'm just trying to scalp this. And we're out. Let me close this. Perfect. Woo! That one was a little sweaty one. Hopefully this one, I mean, I kind of hope prices rocket up. You know, people get really upset when prices just miss their entry and then it goes in their direction, or it takes them out of their take profit and goes like 10 to 1, 20 to 1. That's okay, because that's letting you know that you're picking really good levels if you see that type of stuff. But in this case, I just want to get in, get out. I'm personally not the biggest fan of trying to buy this market right now. I just want to quickly manage this trade, and this thing's rocketing. Okay, now that we're out of that trade, we're officially 1 hour now into the open. Now, something I do want to look at, S&P has been green over the first hour. And when the S&P is green for the first hour, opening candle continuation, that's what I want to look at here on the ES. When the first hour of the US New York session is green, there's an 80% chance, 78% chance that it's going to be a green day. Okay, so I definitely want to be potentially leaning for more long opportunities as price continues and breaks more to the upside. I'm going to get short one contract, MES, very, very low risk, very low risk. The reason why I'm liking this, I'm going to put a stop above here. It's just 75 bucks, very small. This is not a standard setup that I typically take. Buyers have slowed to the upside, higher highs, higher lows. We have been unable to break the highs since then. In fact, we've been now making lower lows and lower highs at this point. And then since then, we have pulled back into this area of resistance. So I definitely like the idea of trying to short this thing. If we continue to sell off, I might add to this. Let me have a look here on the book. Yeah, so we got some sellers stepping in up here. I'm going to see if I can add to this. Short. Risking 165. I'm going to have my first take profit. Maybe, no, because I think this could really move down into here. I'm going to move my take profit down there. We're going to look right here on the order book. Yeah, so it hit that big stack, 77 pending orders onto the sell side. In fact, I'm going to move my stop just a little bit down. I don't want to see the buyers re-step in again. That's the last thing I want to see. I don't want to see those buyers re-step in after they just stepped in one time. Total risk on this is now $100. I'm going to close it. What are we at now? We lost on total about 20 bucks. 20 bucks on that trade. Not bad. Good risk management. Good reward to risk on something like that. So, hey, we saw the buyers re-stepping in like we talked about. I didn't want to see prices taken back more up to the upside. Manage risk accordingly. I'm happy with that. It's the first loss. Okay, I'm looking at this breakout setup on the ES right now. Markets haven't done anything for the last 2 hours, and then all of a sudden we got this big breakout. So what I like about this is prices were in a range for a very long time. And then all of a sudden we just broke out to the upside all the way. A lot of buyers have stepped into the market. So I'm going to end up trying to buy this as a zone, risking 1,000, 2 lots, 2 contracts. And we're going to see if we can get a fill down in this area. Nice little tight base. Price is coming down. All right, I'm in the trade. Buyers taking control. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take partials. 1 contract up there if I can. Price is selling off. A lot of people are trying to hit the ask here on the delta, positive delta, 200, 208, 348. They're not able to take control. Not a good sign, definitely not. But if prices can start breaking up a little bit higher, I'm going to start protecting this. Move up my stop just a bit. Trying to protect my stop. Prices came back up and tested the previous area where it sold off from. And I'm out. Oh my gosh, that'd be horrible if this thing goes back up. I would actually look at re-entering if this goes up. 400 contract. Jesus Christ. Entering long again. There's a 400 contract buyer down there and they kept stepping in, so I'm gonna re-enter, take profit up here. I would look at adding into this potentially. If prices can re-break above candlesticks up here, I'll add back into this. And that would be my running trade and I'll move everything up. Potential double bottom. Adding into it. I'm gonna move up my stop. Oh, come on, don't do this. Okay. I'm going to let the other one ride up to here. I'm going to have my stop set the break even on the second one. Thing's riding. I'm going to let this thing go up too. I think this is where you could see some type of sellers trying to step in here. But if we take control, I want to see this thing take control. I'm going to get out, back out where sellers retook control up here, where this supply zone is. That's where it makes sense to me. I'm going to move up, stop. I just don't want to see it break this candlestick again. How did we not? Yeah, there we go. So after, what do we have? 4 or 5 trades, re-entered, which was nice. Oh my gosh, that thing flushed down. So that was a good, holy smokes. Whoa, what the hell is going on right here? Sell the pullback back into that little supply zone. See if we can get a flush down. I like that supply zone. I do, but I don't know what's going to happen. Okay, long. Moving up. Stop loss. Moving up again. Taking advantage of this. Going to follow it up again. Just going to keep moving the stop. We got breaking news coming out across the board. And close. It looks like we're going to break the other day's, previous day's highs too. My gosh, probably something to do with Trump's tariffs. I'll have an update for you at the close because I just hit my take profit. I can't make any more money. I'm up 4,500 for the day. The New York close happens in about 2 hours, which then I will be able to continue trading during that time. So we're ending the New York session up over $4,800. I think we took a total of 8 trades, 5 winners, 3 losses. So far, we're at a 64% win rate with a 2.48 reward to risk. So we're doing really well. And with the New York close happening now, that means I can now continue trading going into the Asian and London because that's the end of the day at the end of the New York session, right? So what happened during that time? My gosh, absolutely insane. I feel like every day is a completely different story of what's happening, okay? And what's happening on the order book. I got my screen recorded and I want to share with you what was going on. So basically, we know Donald Trump's tariffs, global tariffs are coming in. China came back and hit them with an 85% tariffs. And so Donald Trump said, screw that, I'm dumping 125% tariffs on you. Not just that, I'm going to pause every other country's global tariffs. He's instead saying, you guys got 90 days to work out a new deal. We're not going to put the global tariffs on all the other countries. We're going to pause it for 90 days, except for China. And so this sent the markets going absolutely crazy. The stocks rose over 10.5% over the course of the rest of the day. Absolutely insane. But this is the market condition that we are currently in. It's absolutely crazy. And something I actually want to share with you is this was 2 days ago when there was talks. This is just rumors. This is the Donald Trump era that you live in the trading markets. And you have to accept this and willing to adapt. You don't know what you're going to get. And I want you to look at the order book. And this is the time when Donald Trump's tariffs came into play. And then there was a rumor supposedly coming out that they're going to delay the tariffs 90 days. And this is the rally that you saw. I'm going to show you, and I want you to understand what's happening on the order book here, over here on the right. And you're going to see this thing going out of control, right? So we'll play the video. This is all live data. Okay, this is absolutely incredible. Live data, this thing is going absolutely bananas. This thing is rallying up over 8.5% over the course of 15 minutes, only for it to sell back down 5% 20 minutes later, just because of the rumor. Now, that's what was going on. The dome was going absolutely crazy, but pay attention to the heat map. This is going to show you kind of the live orders coming into the markets. This is real time. This is how fast the market is moving. Thousands and thousands of trades per second. It's going absolutely crazy. Not just that, it's going absolutely bananas. Now, I want to have a look at this right here. This right here is a tick chart, and I want to show you how fast this market is moving. You guys saw it when I took that trade and I was up like 3 grand or something like that. This is a tick chart, meaning a single candlestick will be printed once there is 1,000 individual trades happening on a chart. And during this time, once there's 1,000 trades, it doesn't matter if I'm trading 1 contract or 10 contracts. Each trade represents one. It doesn't matter the size. And once there's 1,000 individual trades, it will then finish printing the candle, right? Sometimes it will take 30 seconds. Sometimes it will take 5 minutes, depending on the time of the session or the time of the day. Okay, and other times at the open or during high major impact news, you'll get a candlestick printing every 5 seconds. But during that time, we had a course of 31,000 tick candlesticks being printed green over the course of 60 seconds. And this is over 1,000 individual trades. So every 2 seconds, there was 1,000 individual trades being taken. Absolutely insane volatility coming into the markets right now, and you got to be careful. But that's what I wanted to show you, kind of the market conditions that we're in. It's going absolutely bananas. But hey, we're up 4,500. We're going to continue this session going into the Asian. Honestly, I've been here for 3 hours and I haven't taken a single trade. So actually what I'm going to do now is I'm going to focus in going into the London session and into the New York session and take some trades there. So I'm going to whip off to the gym, go check out the beach. It's the daytime here in Vietnam, and I'll show you guys a quick B-roll video of that before we get started going into that London session, which is in about 2 hours time. So let's get it. We are in a trade. We got filled on that Canadian demand zone that we were talking about earlier, reacting off of support, prices pulling back into demand, prices sold off back into it. So we're currently long 3 contracts, not much risk. We're risking only $100 with the goal to make 200 on that. But I'm not going to get married to this position. And we are out of that Canadian. Take an L on that one. There is a couple other ones that I'm looking at. I'm looking at crude oil right now. Hopefully price can pull back into this area of kind of the breakout / resistance line right here. So I do like this as a nice little supply zone. Might look to get short if prices return. It's a shame I didn't get filled on that euro because prices took off from my entry. Originally we were looking to get long from down here, but prices just missed my entry on something like that. It was a nice little demand zone that broke downward momentum, removed opposing pivot point zones, but just missed my entry. That's a shame. That's all right. You know what? It's okay when that type of stuff happens because it lets you know that you're picking really good zones. You can always adapt your trading from there. Wider entry, wider stops, quicker take profit. Let your take profits run. You can always adjust from there. What's important is that you document and journal these things. So 1 trade down on the European session. Okay, we have monthly CPI news coming out in about 1 hour's time, and I want to talk to you about how to interpret the news, how to read the news, what's happening globally around the world, because whether you are day trading or swing trading, this is something you have to learn. So I'm going to give you a couple of resources about what I use every single day in the markets. So we have monthly CPI news coming out. So right away, when it comes to major news coming out, I just avoid all trading. Day trading, scalping, swing trading. Like when it comes to a major news announcement like this, I stay away. It's too volatile. I make sure I'm out of the market 5 minutes before, 5 minutes after. I don't trade. Okay. Sometimes if I'm holding a winner, maybe I let it ride because sometimes they can take off. It really depends on the setup. It's not every time, 90% of the time I'm closing everything or I'm shutting down the charts. How to trade the news. Okay. This resource right here, instead of me saying, what is CPI news? What is non-farm payroll? What is unemployment rates? Like, why is it so important? I'm going to have this in the description below. It's called News Squawk. Now, these guys will have like right here. So if you go top right where it says news and more, you say how to trade the news. These guys just break down like what is the news. Okay, if it comes out, so let's have a look at CPI, Consumer Price Index. Click on read how to trade the CPI. They tell you what is the CPI index? How is it used by the Fed? What does it mean for the economy, right? So they explain to you what is Consumer Price Index? What does it mean? How often is the announcements? What are the expectations? If there is a positive announcement, how does that affect stocks? How does that affect the US dollar? How does that affect the metals, right? And of course, if there's a negative announcement, how does that affect the metals market? How does it affect the stock market? And then it gives you a recap, like big picture, this is why it's important, right? And so this is why it's important to say like, what is CPI news? What is unemployment claims? What is the manufacturing rate? right? What is GDP? Okay, this is why it is important to understand, because it's major news announcement that ends up driving the markets. You've got, this takes months and months to learn. You don't just read an article and you're like, okay, I'm a professional now. Like you do this every day. I'm going to show you resources now because these guys have like a good pre-market and market recap. And the way that I use it is called Zero Hedge. And I look for the article that comes out about 1 hour before the US Open, 2 hours before. They come up with their United States US Open news. And this breaks down what happened during the Asian session and the London session and things that you need to keep an eye out for during this time, right, for the New York session. It will give you a rundown of what happened during those two sessions, what's happening globally around the world. So that's a really cool little resource for you. ZeroHedge.com, New Squawk. If you didn't want to use Zero Hedge, then you could just go to New Squawk up here, click up here, top right, and then go to pre-market movers and news. And this will give you a open report and a European open report. When I wake up in the morning, because I'm in Asia, I'll go off and find this article because they always have the same image here on Zero Hedge to easily find the article. And I just read the recap. I wake up in the morning and I read this, all right? That's something you should probably be doing instead of texting your friends or looking at what your sports team did last night or what's the up and coming schedule. Read this, it takes 10 minutes. Read it on your lunch break. You know, just try to read the most recent one. If you trade the US session, read the US session. Anyways, that's what I do. So let's continue on to the charts and hopefully we can get a trade before we end the day. We got about 3-4 hours left. So I'm looking here on a short on the S&P. Prices are selling off, but a lot of positive delta going into this open that buyers have not been able to take control. Buyers have not been able to push this thing above. And so if it starts breaking down, I'm going to jump into this short here on the ES. I think it's going to potentially break below and end up going back down into like yesterday's territory, trying to fill yesterday's gap. So I definitely like looking for selling opportunities here, but I want to see this thing break down. Price is selling off. It's broken the lows that you see. I want to catch a pullback. Aggressive would just be to jump in short, which might be some people's play. Personally, that's not for me. I want to see if I can catch a pullback back into this level. Price is holding, which is good. That's what I like to see. Short. Risking 1,000. One contract. I don't want to see this thing continue to push up and break above. If so, then I'm going to close it. Thinking about getting out on the lows again of where it just broke down. Take profit down below. I'm going to move this down more so it's risk-free soon. Risking 200. I'm going to move this to break even now. This thing is already gone, you know, like to where ideally my first take profit would be if I was holding a position. So I don't want to see this thing return back up into my zone if it reacts off of this low. Ideally, I want to see this thing break it down below. Is there any big stack of buyers? Yeah, so at 3,500 flat, I'm going to close the trade now. 200 contract. He was sitting there with a pending limit. So ended up just closing the trade. I'm always trying to create a better edge, trying to refine my trading strategy. And so what I did was I did two separate back tests, one on Euro USD, one on gold, of straight up just buying and selling wherever, whenever, for no reason. I would buy, and as soon as I get out of the trade, I would sell and go the opposite side. I would just buy 5 times in a row and then say, hey, let's sell 5 times in a row, right? So there was no reason to why I was buying or selling. And it just goes to show, like, trading is literally a 50-50 game. Like, we can always have these chart patterns, indicators, do whatever you want. But at the end of the day, it's 50-50. And what I always find amazing is it's a 50-50 game of prices going up or down. And you could do this test yourself, and you will see it's 50-50. And people are going to blow their accounts by poor risk management. Trading psychology and risk management, that's why people blow their accounts. And here's the other one. 42 trades, break even. No rhyme or reason to doing what I was doing, right? And so having a proper trading strategy that has an edge is important. Anyways, I just find it interesting. It's always good. It's a good reality check once in a while just to say, hey, there is no holy grail, but it's important that you have a proper foundation of a core strategy and then refine it to your own strengths and weaknesses, right? So I trade supply and demand. It's an easy trading strategy to learn the basics. And then you build on top of that using trading intuition and experience, right? So, which is what we do in the Moneyball trading program. And of course, in that ebook that you guys have going over my exact trading strategy and the exact setup that I've been going over in this video so far. Continue, we got about 20 minutes left before the official 24-hour deadline would be up. Let's get back into the charts and hopefully we can get one more trade. Good. Stop loss below. Very quick, prices breaking to the upside. This is all going live. The breakout trade, prices breaking above. I think prices are going to continue in that direction. Gold is really strong right now. So that's why I am getting long. This is probably going to be the last trade, hopefully. We want to see this thing push up a little bit more to the upside. Move my stop to break even. Prices just missed by one tick. And I'm out. We are now officially 1 hour into the New York session, which means we have now completed the 24-hour trading session, and our overall stats for this, we are up over $5,507. I will have that on the screen of what the trading stats are for win rate, reward to risk, and stuff like that. So we didn't hit the ultimate goal of passing the account, but hey, we're well on our way. With proper risk management, we didn't just YOLO the account. We had proper risk management, proper reward to risk. We did not full port, and that's real trading. So hopefully I get that passed over the next week or two. I'll work on that. Just wanted to say thank you so much. And in fact, if you wanted to get, then check out the ebook that will be in the description below covering the supply and demand strategy that you saw in this video. In fact, if you want to watch the video of my trading strategy in 30 minutes or less, you can click that video above my head right now. I appreciate if you guys like the video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Cheers. Bye-bye.